Black, a game about blowing stuff up while admiring how pretty the guns are. Black was the most popular shooter on the PlayStation 2, and still is to this day. But how do I remember Black? Well, let's dive into my memories and my very first experience with seeing the game. The first time I saw Black was inside the PlayStation 2 demo magazine. Turning the page and seeing the images and the over-the-top descriptions was a marvel to see. Each page detailing the game and its mechanics. So with that amazing display bundled together into 9 pages, what did the front cover look like? Yeah, like that. It's pretty sick. Seeing an M16 exploding into pieces was a massive eye catcher, especially considering I already knew the game. The cover definitely stood out more than other games, so it was pretty unique. Other games would use characters on their front cover, but not Black. Instead, here's an exploding gun. And that is all the explanation you need. So what's Black like? Well...
Copy that, 6-2.
This is Black. First time I experienced Black was on this demo disc. This is what the demo covers would look like, which was always exciting to see the new games coming soon and getting a chance to play them before they're released. The demo of Black only had one level, which was the very first level, but was a great introduction to what the game was, and I played through it a dozen times. this is what my first experience with black was like. And I freaking loved it. Black was a first-person shooter at its heart, but emphasizes on destruction and causing complete chaos with some extremely fun guns. There was a ton of weapons to cause chaos with, ranging from pistols, assault rifles, submachine guns, sniper rifles, a revolver, an RPG, and my personal favorite, shotguns. So that's how Black plays. But now, let's check out the guns. Glock shoots fast and takes out hostiles with precision. The DS-50 packs a punch that can drop the bad guys in a single shot. The AK-47 is great for groups and medium-range shootouts. The M16 chooses firepower over speed and tears through everything. The MP5 shoots really fast and takes down hostiles quick. The MAC-10 Elite is vicious at close range and shreds through anything within range. The Uzi also shoots extremely fast and can tear through hostiles super quick. The Spaz 12 blows anything and anyone away with power and can even blow down doors and walls. The Remen 2 holds more shells and has slight further range, but has less spread and can drop enemies quick. The Walther 2000 is perfect for long-range hunting and take down multiple enemies if lined up right. The revolver can blow a hole through anything it's pointed at. The M294 has both a massive round capacity and firepower to shred the baddies to pieces. The RPG needs no introduction, just point at what you want gone. The grenade launcher is self-explanatory. It makes things go boom. So that's Black and how I remember it, and why it's one of my favorite first-person shooters. And after all this time, it's still a ton of fun. So thank you for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed me sharing my experience, my memories of playing this game all those years ago. So if you enjoyed, consider subscribing, as there's more to come. So, take care everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day. Spider-Man is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. My childhood pretty much revolved around three things: Spider-Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Scooby-Doo. I remember waking up on a Saturday morning excited to watch the next episode of Spider-Man on Fox Kids. Seeing all the villains and storylines of each episode was always exciting. I remember sitting in front of the TV watching Spider-Man just kick absolute ass. This was my childhood. Though my childhood revolved around those three things, today I'll be talking about Spider-Man, specifically the PlayStation 2 game. Spider-Man was the first game I played on the PlayStation 2, and what an introduction to the console it was. This game had everything I could have wanted in a Spider-Man game. Different costumes, bad guys to fight, badass combos to pull off to defeat thugs, web slinging, and multiple locations to explore, including New York City. The graphics blew me away, especially considering we had the PlayStation 1 at the time, so seeing the next gen graphics was a mind-blowing experience. First time I saw the game was on TV during an ad break. I remember it being a Monday night, my dad was getting ready for darts, my mum was watching Coronation Street. But then when the break came up, my mum went into the kitchen to make a cup of tea, and during that time, the trailer came up of the game. This trailer had my eyes glued to the screen. I was mesmerized by the graphics, and seeing a new Spider-Man game was awesome. When the trailer ended, I ran into the kitchen shouting, "Mom, there's a new Spider-Man game on PlayStation." My mum replies, "Haven't you already got a game on PlayStation?" "Yeah, but this is a new one, and it's based on the movie that's releasing soon." The Spider-Man game I had on PlayStation was this one. I never played the sequel, but I knew of it.
Looks like I've got company.
Listen, Gargan, it's a new millennium. Lots of high tech. There may be some way we can get you out of that suit.
You put me in this suit. Now I'm going to make you pay.
Get over it, Gargan.
You ruined my life, so now I'll end yours.
Leave him alone, Chuckles.
Butt out, webhead. Spider-Man? I asked for the police, and I get this?
This game kicked so much ass. So many hours of my life was on this game. I played through it a dozen times, and I never got bored.
Where are you?
I'm out of here.
Where are you hiding?
So the trailer came on the TV again, and both my parents were there to see it. But as my excitement grew, I saw this. Yeah, we didn't have a PlayStation 2. So my excitement of playing the game fizzled away. All hope was gone. But then, Christmas came. Christmas was one of my favorite times of the year, as it always gave me this warm feeling inside during the season. Christmas Day came, and everything was fine until my parents brought in a larger present into the front room. Inside was a PlayStation 2. Not this one, that one. Then another present came. Then boom! Spider-Man. Well, was I excited. Now, in my hands was the game, and I can now play it because we also had the PlayStation 2. Now, going from a PlayStation 1 controller to a PlayStation 2 controller was another thing entirely. I'm aware that there were certain games that required the analogs to work on the PlayStation 1, but we never had an analog controller for the console. So my first experience with analog controls was the PlayStation 2, and well, it was definitely a whole new experience for me. Going from Spider-Man on PlayStation to Spider-Man on PlayStation 2 was a mind-blowing experience, to say the least. Both of these games were a massive part of my childhood. And being that Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, going from the show to the games to the movie, it made me feel super nostalgic to share this experience with you all today. And why Spider-Man is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation 2. Plus, it's one of my first games ever that I experienced on the console. Oh, one more thing. There's a secret in this game that I didn't believe at first, but then I looked into it and was blown away, more so than the actual game itself. You can play as the freaking Green Goblin, and it's not just a costume, it's a whole new game. You have the glider. You can use up to 4 kinds of different bombs. You've even got machine guns for the glider. You can run really fast and bash enemies out the way while leaving a trail of fire behind you. You can also summon little drones to fight enemies. I hope you enjoyed my video of my experience with Spider-Man on the PlayStation 2 and sharing my memories of this amazing game. Take care everyone, and I'll see you in the next video, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day.
Spiders! Spiders everywhere! Go back to your corporate masters! No! No! No!
Darkwatch, a game about playing as a cowboy outlaw who becomes a vampire while blowing away the undead with some serious gothic firepower. Darkwatch was a game not a lot of people knew about. I learned about it in the official PlayStation 2 magazine, and there I saw everything I needed to know. You see, when I was much younger, the only games I really played was first-person shooters and horror games. Occasionally, I would play a platformer, but mostly if there was a new first-person shooter coming out, I was all over that shit. The front cover is also really badass. I mean, look at this. Definitely stands out. These are my favorite type of covers. Seeing the main character in a badass pose was always what catches my eyes while looking for a new game in the game store. First thing you see is the front cover. Normally, the next thing you do is look at the back to see what the game's about. The back of the box normally tells you everything you need to know about a game, which the case for Darkwatch does just that. I'm always looking for a screenshot showing how the game plays, and if it shows this, then I'm instantly interested. So with all that said, what's the game like? Darkwatch plays like any other first-person shooter, but instead of shooting soldiers, you're literally fighting the undead and occasionally a vampire or some phantom type creature, so there's plenty to shoot. The one thing that really stood out was the design and style of the guns, especially the shotgun and the carbine. The guns felt powerful and really fun to use, but the design was badass. My personal favorite is the shotgun. I mean, look at this thing. It's also really cool how most weapons have a blade on the handle, so it's not just a firearm, it's also a close quarters paper shredder. And the melee in this game is super fun, especially since this game has early ragdoll physics, not seen in much games. With a swift strike, you can nearly home run an enemy like a freaking baseball. Sending an enemy flying was always entertaining, especially when they starfish into a wall and end up getting stuck. My younger self was incredibly easily humoured, so this made my day every time it happened. To make matters worse, there is literally an enemy that throws itself at you. Introducing the Kegger. These guys hold a barrel with TNT on their shoulders. At a range, they move rather slow, but once they smell you, they turn from old man mode to ridiculous super mega fast old man mode. They begin supercharging their legs and close that gap extremely fast, and once within range, they dive at you like Superman dive. They also blow up on impact, so it's possible to dodge the attack, which in most cases causes them to pile drive into a freaking wall at supersonic speed, resulting in an explosion followed by their legs sticking out of the wall. Yeah, this shit would have had me rolling on the floor, but if you aren't careful, they can kill you in 1 or 2 hits. Plus, once they're off screen, it's bye-bye, because they do insane damage. What other enemies are there? We have a Banshee. These things are freaking weird. They may look hot, but looks can kill. And in this case, they shoot bad lyrics at you, which are so bad, they cause physical pain. And when they get close, they bitch slap you. Next, we have the Gunslingers. These guys are your standard shoot back enemies. They also hate it when you shoot off their hat. My favorite enemies to fight are these guys, the Reapers. They mostly just bum rush you with various cooking utensils and give you a good smack. They are also in pretty much every level. Now we have the snipers, the riflemen. You'll mostly find them on something high and out of reach, and are extremely accurate, and can kill you really fast, which is annoying. We have the large hungry man thing that appears to have misplaced his eyes. He's called an oozer. He may be slow, but hits hard, and even has a ranged spit attack, which is gross. God knows what he's been eating to spit that. And finally, we have the Vipers, who have clearly been hitting the gym. These beefcakes can not only Falcon punch you, but they can also teleport, which is fun. They are also ridiculously tall, and can hide on ceilings, waiting to be asked for directions. So that's the base enemies. Next is the guy who pretty much causes the game to exist. This is Lazarus. Kind of a dick. Lazarus is the main reason for your torment, and basically screwing the world by releasing a shockwave that wakes the Bobs from their eternal nap, which I'm guessing makes them very angry. I mean, look at that face. Be angry. He also shit talks you throughout the game, depending on the choices you make. Yeah, you have choices in the game that not only affects gameplay, but the ending you can get, which is cool, and it has replayability. In certain parts throughout the game, Jericho will come across various people or tainted victims, and the choice is yours to either be a good vampire or evil vampire, both involving unlocking different powers. Some powers are really fun to use, like the fear power, which can send enemies running away screaming, while others just take that as an insult. Another power is called Silver Bullet. This makes you an unstoppable killing machine by giving you unlimited ammo, so you can keep shooting with no reloading needed. And using this power with the crossbow is devastating, but be careful because you can blow yourself up. So that's the enemies, the boss, and the powers. So what's next? Well, next is the weapons that you use to send Bob back to hell. First, we have the revolver. Sadly, it's only in the first level. Next, the Redeemer. Shoots fast and does decent damage. After that is the dual revolvers, which pack a punch. And, come on, dual wielding has never not been badass. Next, we have the Carbine and Sniper. The Carbine looks freaking cool, with a cross being the hammer of the weapon, and can blow off any mug of the various undead with a single shot. The Sniper has less shots than the Carbine, but once again, looks metal as fuck. Zoom in and hand out some open head brain surgery on unexpected customers. Now, it's time for a beast of a gun, the freaking shotgun. This thing not only blows away anything within range, but looks freaking badass, especially the reload animation. Here we have the crossbow, but it's not your standard bolt launcher. This one fires exploding bolts, which absolutely annihilates everything. It's especially fun to stick a Bob and watch him scream and then explode. It also looks cool. Moving on. The rail rocket is a way to completely remove and spread the seed of anything you aim it at into the world. It also looks cool. Enough said. You can also throw dynamite, which completely clears rooms. But don't use it indoors, otherwise you'll also be cleared from existence. The game also includes a variety of locations ranging from a graveyard, to a mine, to a ghost town. Not only do you run around blasting bobs, but you also have a trusty vampire steed called Greg. Yeah, Greg, the vampire horse. So that's Darkwatch, a pretty fun game with a cool as hell art style. I've always loved the gothic aesthetic, since Victorian London is one of my favourite time periods. Darkwatch will always be that weird vampire cowboy game that not everyone knew existed, which is a shame, because it's a damn good time. I hope you enjoyed this video of Darkwatch, a game I played a dozen times and always had fun doing so. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day. PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy, a game about using mind powers to manipulate and destroy your enemies while shooting them with a variety of weaponry. PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy, or as my younger self pronounced it, PSIOps. But if you think that's bad, my younger self also thought the Millennium Falcon was pronounced Aluminum Falcon. Yeah. Don't ask. PsyOps is a third-person shooter at its core, but includes some really cool mechanics like mind powers. I remember seeing the game in the official PlayStation 2 magazine and being interested while looking and learning about the game. Most first-person shooters played the same, but the thing that made PsyOps stand out was the inclusion of powers like telekinesis and pyrokinesis, which were a ton of fun to use against the bad guys. Another thing that stood out was the front cover of the game, which I really loved this cover. The front cover was once again my favourite kind of picture, with the main character in a badass pose. Then this one, of Nick holding up his hand while using what looks like the telekinesis power, was awesome. Now, what's the game like? PsyOps plays like most third-person shooters, so the gameplay is nothing new, with the occasional shooting, but the use of mind powers is what sets it apart from other games. So that's the gameplay. Now, let's look at some of the powers. The power that stands out the most is the telekinesis, that allows Nick to pick up objects and even people. Don't like that box? Smash it into the wall. Bad guy giving you a dirty look? And smash him into the ground, or the nearest wall. or introduce a box to someone's face. Plus, the developers even make the reticle change color, indicating it can be manipulated, and it can lock onto items so you can target specific areas. Next we have the pyrokinesis power. This allows Nick to literally ignite enemies with a wave of fire. You can even pick up ignited enemies, turning them into a human fireball of death. Plus, it looks freaking sick when you use this power. Nothing beats a good old cook-off. Here we have remote viewing. This puts Nick into a kind of out-of-body experience that allows him to see what's ahead, and you can even pass through locked doors. This power allows for a more stealth approach, or you can just shoot everything. Now we have mind control, which allows Nick to take over any unfortunate bad guy within looking distance. It's a lot of fun to break the friendship between the bad guys. Once you're done with them, you can either leave them untouched, or make them carry out a science experiment of what happens when I shoot this red barrel. The choice is yours. Here we have Mind Drain. This allows Nick to literally suck the mind juice out of his enemies to regain his psi power. It's a win-win. Well, maybe not for this guy, but he's dead, so it's fine. This guy? Not so much. So that's some of the powers you'll use throughout the game. My two favorite are telekinesis and pyrokinesis. With all that said, unfortunately, playing through the game again reminded me why I never finished it. Though Psyops has really cool game mechanics, my younger self found it kind of boring. And playing it again today reminded me of why that was. The games I've looked at so far, being Black, Spider-Man, and Darkwatch, was fun to relive the memories and sharing my experiences. But unfortunately, Psyops doesn't share that same feeling of nostalgia like the other games do. I've completed these games countless times, and they're always fun to go back to and play through again and again. But Psyops, it's just not fun. The main reasons why I didn't find the game fun is two things. One, the enemies. They're obnoxious and annoying, especially in areas where they constantly respawn. The second, the level design. Some are okay. Others don't give you any clear direction of where you have to go. The enemies are the main obstacles in stopping the player, but unfortunately they aren't really fun to fight, especially the heavies. The level design can be very hit and miss. Sure, you have a map, but it doesn't really help you navigate, and the objectives are kind of vague. So that's Psyops. Unfortunately, a cool game with some awesome mechanics, but overall, a boring experience that even my younger self agrees with. But let's not dwell, because the next game I'll be covering is anything but boring. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day.
Yo, you got room for one more?
You got a screw loose, kid? What the?
Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, is a game about playing as a cocky little robot armed with an arsenal of weaponry to obliterate his foes. Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, is a game I never really saw anyone talk about, especially people that I knew. But I learned about it in the official PlayStation 2 magazine, and inside that issue was a demo, and I remember playing through it countless times. More than I remember. Trust me, it's a big number. Metal Arms is a mix of a third-person shooter, platformer, and racing combined to make one killer experience. Badass game needed a badass cover. What does it look like? Yeah, definitely badass. Once again, the cover to Metal Arms was another example of my favourite kind of covers. Staring down the barrel of a smoking gun was never not cool. Seeing the main character Glitch giving you the "eat this" look, well, we definitely know whatever Glitch is aiming at. It ain't lasting much longer. So that's the front cover. But what does the gameplay like? Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, is mainly a third-person shooter. There's the occasional platforming or driving section, but you'll mostly be blowing away the evil millbots with some serious firepower. So that's the gameplay. Now, let's look at some of the enemies. First we have the hilarious millbots.
Ah, cut it out! Will you stop shooting me?
The millbots are your standard enemies, but the thing that makes them unique is their chatter, which is hilarious to listen to, especially when they shoot each other and actually react to it. Also, when they scream and run away when they know they're screwed. You can even completely remove their arms and heads, which actually affects them. Whenever I damage their gun arm and watch it shoot in all directions, is always a marvel to watch them shoot an unexpected rocket into the face of their friend. After the battle is over, you normally see a bunch of legs running around, which is really funny. Next, we have the Titan, which is a massive war machine armed with dual miniguns and a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher.
You are advised to
They
stay
also have big
destroyed
feet,
or face
so they can squish you.
destruction.
Pretty much a bug to them. These guys mean business and are probably the toughest millbots to battle against, especially when they are paired with other mills. Going for their arms is the best strategy. Plus, you can use their rockets to blow up their friends. Destroying their legs won't destroy them, but will cause them to become an emplaced turret. So be careful, as it takes a bunch of firepower to take them out. Here we have the Trooper. They have the ability to fly, which makes them extremely hard to hit.
Long range and lethal.
Fucking hate you. These guys are tough to fight, as they move really fast, and you can lose sight of them in seconds. Best way to deal with them is to use the spear, as trying to use a rocket launcher on them is pretty much impossible. They have dual blades, which they use to swoop down and slash as they land. Since they can fly, it makes them annoying. Definitely my arch nemesis. Next, we have the infamous Guard. Yeah, that's his name. And these guys can be a real pain, especially in numbers. The guards are tall, trident-wielding, well, guards. They also have a ranged scatter blast attack, which eats your health. They also move really fast, and can close that gap real quick. And if you're not careful with the swinging attack, they can literally stun lock you, which, you know, is fun. Now we have these things, the Zombots, which are literally undead robots. Yeah, some spoopy stuff. These things are creepy and will basically attack anything that looks alive. You know, like real zombies. Best strategy to taking them down is either the scatter blaster or a tasty rocket. Be aware, because even though they scatter to pieces, they aren't dead. It's when they explode is when they're really dead. Next, we have the Swarmers. They're small, fast, and look creepy. Because spiders are scary. Yeah. Isn't it obvious why these things are scary? I mean, look at them. Ugh. Anyway, they hate hot things. Like fire. So burn them. Here, we have the Predators. They're fast, and they pack a punch. They also make weird noises. As you can see, they fly. So I love them. Yay. Using rockets is tricky as they move quick. So use the spear. That'll show 'em who's boss. So that's some of the enemies you'll encounter throughout the game. Now, let's have a look at the two bosses of the entire game. First up, the Zombot King. First we have the Zombot King. He's big, mean, and probably doesn't smell nice. He looks intimidating since, well, look at his face. But don't worry, he's only hungry and can smell those corin charges in your pocket. So go ahead and feed him to him. Also, you gotta be fast, otherwise your new friend Moza will be turned into freshly cut veggies. Now, we have the big bad boss man, General Corrosive. Yeah, pretty mad. General Corrosive is a massive war machine, bigger than a Titan. I mean, much bigger than that guy. A Titan's a baby compared to this guy. Stay clear of his massive feet, otherwise, yeah, that happens. The tricky thing about this boss is your weapons have no effect on him, so you have to use your brain, or your chip, because you're a robot? Anyway, he uses rockets to destroy the containers to find the blue chips to take control of him. Now, you've completed the game, right? But wait, there's a final level, which means final battle. The ship ends up crashing and Glitch thinks he's won. But then General Corrosive stands up, damaged. But now he's dead, or he's really pissed off. Now, the fight is much simpler. You have to literally peel him apart, because now your weapons damage him. This fight is long and epic, and I remember feeling like a true hero when I finally defeated him. So that's the enemies and the bosses. Now, let's look at some weapons to use to destroy the evil millbots with. First, we have the mining laser. It's the first weapon you get, so it's not that effective. But, unlike other weaponry, instead of using ammunition, it has a bar that recharges when not being fired. Next, we have the spear, which is machine gun, so it fires fast and shreds mills in seconds, especially when you upgrade it. Here we have the Scatter Blaster, the shotgun weapon of the game. It's really powerful, especially up close, and upgrading it makes it into a freaking boomstick. Now we have the rocket launcher, which makes things go boom. At first, it's slow, but packs a punch, but when upgraded, can load multiple missiles and fire rapidly. Next is the rivet gun that shoots, well, rivets. It can shred mills quickly, plus, when it's upgraded, the rivets become explosive. Next up is the Ripper, which literally fires saw blades that can dismember the limbs of enemies, and can be used to cut wires. Here's the Slingshot, which can launch explosives at high speed that causes complete chaos. Just don't stand too close to what you're aiming at. Next is the Toaster, which is a flamethrower. Pretty self-explanatory. It's capable of melting everything you aim it at. Here we have the Tether, which allows you to take control of millbots, which is really fun. Upgrading allows the hacking of more bigger mills. Lastly, we have Glitch's Hand, which can be used as a last resort to bitch slap the mills and show him who's boss. So that's the enemies, the weapons, and the bosses you'll find, use, and encounter throughout the game. Metal Arms will never not be fun for me. And going back to it today made me remember why so many Friday nights were spent on this game. While exploring levels, you'll come across these gold chips, which are used to unlock multiplayer levels. Some levels even have speed chips, which required you to speed through a level. Luckily, it's not every level, and you can always go back through the level select and collect all the chips. So, it's not restricted, and you won't have to make another save to collect everything. So that's Metal Arms, Glitch in the System. A really fun game with some memorable characters. And a solid experience that even to this day still holds up. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day.
Hey, Crunk, were you able to repair our mystery bot?
Of course I f***ing fixed him. It was a huge pain in the f***ing waistband, cause he's some kind of custom jobby, but nothing I couldn't handle. Some of his memory chips were fried, so he'll need a new data upload. But after that, he should be as good as f***ing new.
We fought side by side in many battles. Never would I have guessed that a Viking warrior could so betray every belief we served no longer.
Rune, Viking Warlord, a game about playing as Ragnar, the young warrior who sets out for revenge after his clan is destroyed by a traitor. Rune, Viking Warlord, a game I had no idea existed. I didn't learn about it or see it in the official PlayStation 2 magazine. Nope. Or the television. Instead, I learned about it from a friend who would rent games from Blockbuster. You see, I must learn about upcoming games from the PlayStation Demo magazine. But there was never a demo of Rune, to my knowledge, so it was lucky I got to play it thanks to my friend. But, by some freak chance, I managed to find the game at my local game store, which is called Game. I had enough money, so I grabbed it, and I absolutely loved it. Countless after-school days was spent on this amazing game. Rune is a third-person melee combat game at its core, but has platforming and some other mechanics like special abilities. So with all that said, what's the cover look like? Yep, another badass cover to add to the collection. Well, once again, here we are, looking at yet another cover that feeds my attention. And yep, it's badass. Seeing Ragnar in a battle-ready pose and looking prepared, and of course, being a badass. So that's the cover. What does the gameplay like? Rune plays like any third-person game, but focuses on melee combat, as there isn't really any ranged combat, so every encounter is life and death, as you have to be within smelling distance of the abundance of enemies you'll have to face to succeed in your quest for revenge. The game is also based in Norse mythology, so it automatically becomes more interesting because Norse mythology is awesome. So the game's like a history lesson, but you get to kill stuff. So it's not like school. It's fun instead. Also, the environments are breathtaking. Like, seriously, look at some of them. The hell level looks, well, hot. The snow level looks cold. And this level looks very wet. So, they definitely immerse you in each of them. So that's some of the levels. Now, let's look at some melee combat. The combat is actually pretty good. Considering the game's basically 90% hack and slash, that should be good. Anyway, Ragnar makes every hero look weak. And why is that? Well, he can carry so many weapons ranging from short swords, great swords, axes, maces, and many more. Jesus Christ, how does he do it? Must eat his Wheaties in the morning. And best of all, you can switch between each weapon by a push of a button. You can also throw weapons. Don't feel like smacking that guy? Don't worry, just toss this at him, and voila, he dead. Weapons can also get stuck in things like wooden walls, so that's fun. Other games say you can't hold a shield and two-hand a sword at the same time, but Ragnar says otherwise. Well, that was a mouthful, but as you can see, the combat plays a massive part of the game, so it's important to make it fun. And Rune, well, does just that. Running around with like 20 weapons automatically makes you a badass. So Ragnar is the most badass character ever. Yeah, so that's Ragnar the badass. But there's also a massive roster of things to kill. Yeah, the game has a gigantic amount of enemies ranging from skeletons. Because, well, it's an RPG, so by law, I think they have to be included. Plus, you're literally in hell. Humans, because they don't like you for some reason. So you must slay them before they slay you. Goblins, because RPG lore and stuff. And they're really fun to kill, especially decapitating their little heads. Beasts like Wendels and other horrifying creatures. Evil fish, because fish, that's why. Jeez, that thing ugly. And water is already scary. And, oh, wait, Now I know why the human enemies hate you. It's not because they're evil and stuff. No. It's because they're jealous of your awesome existence and ability to carry so many weapons. Huh. That makes sense. Now I know the reason behind the game. It's because Ragnar is so badass. Everything in the world is jealous of his awesomeness. I mean, imagine having a guy on your team that can carry 20 weapons and pull them out whenever. Think about that. Sometimes you have to work out where to go, as some levels can be a bit confusing. Some require you to backtrack as a door is now opened, or you have to smack something to break open a wall or door, but be careful, because when doing so, this can happen. So that's Rune by King Warlord. A really cool game with an amazing universe and some very fun weapons to swing around. Take care, everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome possum day. Urban Chaos Riot Response, a game about playing as a badass riot officer called Nick Mason, who battles against the notorious gang known as the Burners. Urban Chaos, a game I actually never knew existed. I just came across it one Saturday when I was looking for a new game. Back in school, unfortunately I had an accident, which caused me to be off school for a couple days, which really put a damper on my mood. So, my parents decided to treat me to bring my spirit back up. First we went to Woolworths, and I got this Bionicle set Varpok, which was made up of smaller Bionicles. When combined, would make a massive one. Then we went to Game. Nothing really caught my eye. Across from Game was HMV. We went in, and that's when I found the game. Picking up the game instantly got my attention because it's my favorite kind of cover. But when I turned it around, so yes, it's a first-person shooter, so me wanty. So, that's the cover. But what is the gameplay like? Urban Chaos is a first-person shooter at its heart, but has some unique mechanics, like being able to shock people with a taser for a non-lethal takedown. So you have plenty of ways to battle the Burners, save people in need, and show zero tolerance to the bad guys. The game has a wide variety of locations to explore and fight through, with plenty of weaponry, both cop and burner, to mix things up. Like most first-person shooters, your only means of defense is cover. But in Urban Chaos, you have a riot shield. other shooters would have you taking cover to avoid being killed and riddled with bullets. But in Urban Chaos, the riot shield allows you to take threats head on. When you close that gap, you can either smash them with the shield.
The other thing about Urban Chaos is that you can tackle missions however you see fit.
You can either go in, guns blazing, destroying everything in your path, or go tactical with non-lethal takedowns with the taser. There's even grenades that incapacitate the bad guys.
After each level, you collect medals, dependent upon your performance. And there's 5 medals for each level.
This adds replayability to the game, as you can go back and select which level you want to play, which allows you to collect every medal and get the rewards that come with them.
Earning medals rewards you with new gear, and when you complete the emergency levels, they can award you a shiny new gun. So that's Urban Chaos, a really good first-person shooter on the PlayStation 2, and a lot different from the other ones that I was playing during the time, because Black was kind of my go-to, but doesn't take away the fact that it's good. It's very good, and with the medals giving you different rewards, adds that replayability, so it allows you to collect everything. Take care everyone, and hope you all have an awesome possum day.
I'm gonna tell everyone what a hero is.
So, that is 2025 finished. And season 1 of my first attempt at making videos about games. And I had a lot of fun doing so. But I feel like I didn't do enough. I didn't go as in depth as I wanted to in all of these games. And this is just a short list. There's only a couple games that I grew up with, especially these time splitters. Spider-Man, because that was my first game on the PlayStation 2. So I feel like I didn't do as much as I wanted to. And since I like being honest, I felt like I didn't have enough confidence. And the more I think about it, the more I sort of remember how I've always wanted to do these kind of videos, because gaming has been a massive part of my life. Like, I essentially grew up with the PlayStation 2. That was my entire primary school and my secondary school, and then until I left, I had like a PlayStation 3, but that's, you know, the PlayStation 2 was what I grew up with. And now I feel like, now I can do these kind of videos. Now I've got a PC, I'm getting into editing, which is a lot of fun. I sort of have I had small experience in editing from my media studies course in school, but that was just basic. But now I feel like my knowledge of editing in a whole has vastly improved, and I am very happy to have been able to do these kind of videos. But this is not the end. That was season 1. That was the trial. Now, this year is when I'm gonna go all out. Because now, I've got a green screen. So now I can do some really, really cool things with it. And I've decided, let's take the whole sort of professional sort of like coverage of the games and let's just go silly. Because I'm a big kid and I like to enjoy life, live every day to like the whole. So, if you're still here, thank you for watching season 1. Next month will be a new and improved video of Black, and the schedule is 1 video every 2 months because then that allows me to write up the script and then film and then edit. It gives me plenty of time where I don't feel like I'm rushed. I can fully not review because these aren't going to be reviews. Fully show off the game and the stuff that I like and I dislike, but I'm not going to go out of my way to tell you to go buy it because these aren't reviews. It's just me sharing my experience. The season 2 begins next month with a brand new, better version of my coverage of Black, and it's going to be more of a less sitting in front of a webcam. It's going to be more involved. It's going to be more sort of characteristic of it. And I feel like doing this has improved my confidence where I can show you what I'm actually like. Not have to hide behind to say, yes, I am professional. No, I am not professional. People that actually know me know that I am silly, stupid, just batshit insane. And you're gonna see that next month in the Black video. Also, I'm gonna be covering all of these games again, but better. They're gonna be better, bigger, and more stupid. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed season 1 of my channel, and 2025 is over and done with. Now we're in 26. This is where the real stuff begins. Take care everyone, and I hope you all have an awesome day.